Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing a scrapbook page with my mind's eye set of papers called Boy Crazy, with this stencil, 2 photographs of my son and a Bramble Fox perspective. So I'm going to take my blank cardstock and I'm inking behind this stencil with some Distress Oxide Candied Apple colour. So I'm doing these little flicks, I don't know what you want to call them. It's kind of like a bit like a fishtail sort of stencil, just to give a little bit of detail on the back of my page here. And I am going to be layering up some different strips of these papers. I've had these papers for a number of years and only just getting around to videoing photographs of my children when they were little, so I figured this paper set would be perfect. This one says let's ride, this little tag, so I'm going to be using that. Just going to cut off the bit above it and just actually have that title, put that aside for later, and the rest of that I can use as strips on my page. Just checking the rest of the papers to see if there's anything else that I want. These are quite not bright colours, they're quite muted colours, but they're quite bold, so I'm going to be putting these and layering these up along the side here, just trying to get some sort of pattern and think about where I'm going to be layering all these pieces. Just wanted to cut these photographs down because they're a little bit big. Not fully decided what I was going to do. I'm thinking of using a frame on that one there and cutting that down. These pictures are both very similar, but I love both of them. My son's cheeky little grin in these photographs because he was enjoying this holiday away, and we were in Spain at the time. So I'm going to start layering these down. Now I'm going to ink these again with the Candied Apple, and I'm layering a couple down, not close to one another, and then I'm going to be tucking in some pages. So as you see me gluing these down, you only see me gluing the middle. Now I'm coming in with a water brush to help me fold these pieces back because I want this to be a textured element on my page. I don't want all these papers just flat on the page. I'm just trying to work out how I want all of these layered down and moving them around to see what lengths I like, and whether the next one's going to be bigger or smaller than the one before. Just inking that one, gluing that one down, and I want to make this stencil appear all the way across that middle of the page, so all the left hand strips are going to be buttered up against the the inked stencil detail. This piece I just want to use a little bit of it. It was already ripped, so I'm going to keep that effect to this piece only and rip this one. All the others have just been cut with straight edges. And yeah, and just keep layering these up. So this page was for a challenge for national or international scrapbooking weekend, which was this last weekend, and I did this page based on a sketch for Bramble Fox and friends. I love my Bramble Fox items, so I will be adding the title, which is a Bramble Fox title, to this page. So I'm just continuing to build this up. Lighting was a little bit poor when I came back to this because I'd had to leave the page for a little while. So I apologise for the movement, so therefore I apologise for the movement of the camera as well, because I found that I had to stop this page a couple of times and keep coming back to it, so I do apologise that it's slightly different each time. I'm trying out using my camera rather than my telephone to record the video, and I notice up in that left hand corner of my mat you can see a sort of dark shadow. There appears to be a little spot on the lens of my camera, so I may not use it again until I've had a chance to have the camera cleaned because that's bothering me, but it just looks like a little shadow just at the very top of my page there. So I'm just trying to work out what I'm going to do right here, which pages I like. I've had a look at this, quite like this, the brown bit, but I do like the words that are on this piece of paper, and I wanted to be able to keep some of the words. So right here I'm coming in and chopping off this bit, and I want the word smile to be, it says smile and hop. I want these to be evident on the page, so that they tie in with this little bit of the writing of the let's ride that I kept as well. And I do come in at the top as well with another one of the words on the sheet of paper. As I say, it's a very, very busy sheet of paper, or sheets of paper, and they're quite nice. They're quite nice colours, but they're a little bit muted, so it's not entirely what I would normally use. So, and here we go. I'm coming in with that other word there. So I like the word chase on this piece, so I'm highlighting that. The writing is very close together, so it's quite hard to just be able to keep just one word, but that's what I've tried to do here so that you can see that. And so I've got that laid up all on the left hand side, and I'm just going to layer just a small amount on the right hand side of the page. And so again, just inking all of those and putting on this title. Well, it's not really a title, it's really just a subtitle, I guess. So it's the page sort of says, let's ride Dude with Tude, when you add the Bramble Fox. And this one says skate race, and I'm wondering whether to keep the other word, it says jump, in here. So at the moment I'm playing around with keeping that word, and maybe popping a page behind it, but as I keep looking at it, I think actually I won't do that, because none of the other pages are like that, none of the other strips are like that. They're all a straight length, so I do cut that off and ink them down, so that they're all more or less a straight length, except the red zigzag, which was a little bit jagged, but that gave me the opportunity to save the words that I want, or to show the words that I want and not show the others. So there was a reasoning behind that. I did play around for a very long time, which is off camera, with where I was going to put my photographs. I wasn't entirely happy wherever I put them, so I did play around for a long time. Decided to back the photograph a little bit on this orange, which I have used on the strips just to give it a little bit more of a pop, and yes, I had a lot of trouble working out exactly whereabouts I was going to put the photographs and whether I was going to put them straight or on an angle. You see me there popping that down and moving it about a little bit. But I did agonise about this for quite a while, and then ended up coming back and deciding that I was going to stencil just a little bit more. Then I had to try to remember how I had the stencil laid down, because I couldn't quite work it out, so they looked like it was all done at the same time. And yes, this is how the page ended up with the last of the stencil. So I come in here and stick the photograph down. And the last thing that I'm going to do on this page is just give the stencil a little bit more detail. You can see my pencil there. I'm going to take the pencil and I'm going to use that to ink round, or draw around the stencil, or some of the elements of the stencil. So I'm going to do that once I've got everything else in place. So I stick down my photograph and my title, and then I stick down that little frame, and then here I go with just edging some of the stencil, just to give them a little bit more pop and a little bit more interest. Yes, I could have come in with the actual stencil when it was down and draw through the stencil to make sure that they were perfect, but I'm quite happy with them not being absolutely perfect, and me just drawing around a few of them. And this is basically the finish of the page. So I just come in with my cat as always, making sure that the Dude with Attitude and the picture was stuck down properly because of the lifted paper. But I'm really happy with the way the page ended up, and I hope you enjoyed this page, and I will see you again next week. Bye.